Ever thought about why we turn our clocks forward in spring and back in autumn? Daylight. Saving time has become a routine part of our lives, but its origins and implications are much deeper than you might imagine. It's a practice so familiar, yet so obscure, it merits a closer look. Today, we'll uncover the hidden story of daylight saving time, exploring its origins, its impacts, and why it remains a contentious topic in our modern society. Let's turn back the clock, quite literally, to the late 18th century. The idea of changing our clocks to make better use of daylight didn't originate in the 20th century, but surprisingly, it was proposed by Benjamin Franklin. While living in Paris, he wrote a satirical letter suggesting that Parisians could save on candles by getting up earlier to make use of the morning sunlight. His humor was profound, yet the underlying concept intrigued others. But it wasn't until World War I that daylight saving time was seriously proposed and implemented. Fast forward to 1916, during World War I. Countries were scrambling for any advantage to conserve energy and material resources. Germany was the first to adopt daylight saving time, followed quickly by Britain and other countries. The aim was straightforward. By shifting the clock forward, people would have more daylight in the evenings, thus reducing reliance on artificial lighting and saving fuel. But this was a temporary measure. After the war, many countries returned to standard time, believing the practice had served its purpose. But the story doesn't end there. As the years rolled on, the specter of war returned in the form of World War II. Once again, the need to conserve resources revived daylight saving time. The U.S. federal government standardized the practice in 1942, and it became part of life for millions. However, when the war ended, many states opted out, leading to a chaotic patchwork of time zones, with some areas observing the change and others not. Imagine crossing state lines and having to adjust your clock on a whim. Frustrating, right? This chaos prompted President Lyndon B. Johnson to sign the Uniform Time Act in 1966, establishing a more consistent schedule for daylight saving time throughout the U.S. Still, it didn't mean everyone was on board. Even then, many Americans were divided over the necessity and effectiveness of this time shift. Why is daylight saving time still such a hot topic? For one, the concept of altering time still sparks debate over its actual benefits. Supporters claim that shifting the clocks leads to reduced energy consumption, increases outdoor leisure activities in the evenings, and even lowers certain crime rates. But on the flip side, critics point out the downsides, arguing it can lead to health issues, confusion, and a host of other problems. An interesting question arises here. Does the inconvenience of adjusting our schedules outweigh the purported benefits? Studies illustrate that the biannual clock changes can disrupt sleep and cause an uptick in health risks. For example, a temporal analysis published in the New England Journal of Medicine reported an increase in heart attacks following the spring transition. This leads us to consider, should we continue this practice that seems to have unintended consequences? But wait, there's more to this story. Daylight saving time also reveals socioeconomic disparities. Some argue that the practice benefits specific sectors, like retail, more than others. After all, when people enjoy more daylight, they're likely to go out for shopping or dining. However, not everyone benefits equally from this change in time. Certain industries, especially those tied to daylight, like agriculture, face disruption rather than advantage. Let's take a moment to think about where things stand today. Several U.S. states and other countries are actively debating whether to keep daylight saving time or abolish it altogether. Some have moved to a permanent standard time, claiming that maintaining a single time year-round is more beneficial overall. Yet, as we examine these changes, we must also reflect on how deeply ingrained this practice is in our daily lives and societal rhythms. Moreover, the environmental arguments surrounding daylight saving time are dual-sided. While some studies suggest that it reduces energy use by extending daylight hours, other research counters this by implying that any savings may be negligible. What does this mean for the future of our daylight saving practices? As we delegate our time to the clock each season, we invite a fascinating thought. If daylight saving time were to be eliminated altogether, how would society adapt? Would we prioritize natural light differently in our working hours? Or would there be a resurgence in artificial lighting solutions? Now, considering all these variables, it's clear that daylight saving time isn't just a simple clock adjustment. It reflects the complexities of human behavior, societal values, and economic conditions. As we look towards the future, the conversation is evolving. Different regions are experimenting and making changes. And that's not just a trend. It's a pivotal moment. Let's pause and ask ourselves, what aligns better with our lifestyles? Daylight saving time or standard time? Would the time shift actually lead to a decrease in health issues related to sleep? As we ponder these questions, it's crucial to appreciate the debate fundamentally rooted in our daily existence. As we wind down today's exploration of the hidden story of daylight saving time, it's fascinating to see how a practice steeped in the context of war, energy conservation, and economic impact has sewn itself into the very fabric of our routines. Whether you embrace the time changes or not, it serves as a reminder that time is, indeed, a complex, multifaceted concept. In summary, daylight saving time is far more than just a system for managing the hours in our day. It embodies a history of necessity, controversy, and societal change. In a world that seems to move faster every year, it challenges us to think critically about how we manage our time, the value we place on daylight, and how these factors collectively shape our lives. So next spring and autumn, as you adjust your clocks, take a moment to reflect on the hidden story behind this simple act and perhaps appreciate the deeper implications of the time we choose to save.